The market is right back near all-time highs, just like that in a blink of an eye. And it's like we never even had a dip. It's playing out exactly like 2025 to a T. It's pretty scary how it's all happening. But with that though, welcome back to another video. I appreciate everybody tuning in. It has been a while since I last uploaded, probably 5 or 6 months, so I do apologize for that. Again, I don't do this completely full time. Maybe one day I hope to do it completely full time for you guys, but for now, I'll do my best to get as many videos out as possible. There's a couple of things that we're going to get into today. So one, we're just going to kind of go over the overall market sentiment and kind of just talk about where I think the market's going from here. And then there's two new stocks that I started a position in during this entire dip. And you're probably wondering, why didn't you put anything out on Instagram, X, wherever, to say that you started these new positions? I did put it on Instagram for people that are subscribed to me. It's $3 a month. So I have my Instagram subscription set to $3 a month. I don't even know what that equates to daily, but it's pretty much nothing. So for the people that are subscribed to me, they had all of my new positions right there over the last few weeks, and they're playing out pretty well so far. So before we get into it though, if you could just like the video, just give me a thumbs up. It helps me, it helps my content get pushed out. And yeah, so I appreciate anybody who likes it, and for anybody that's just watching this, I appreciate that as well. So where we're at in the market right now, I mean, this is pretty V-shaped recovery as it could get. I mean, this is more V-shaped than 2025, right? We're looking at the 2025 tariff dip back here, and this looks even more V-shaped than last year. So it's pretty crazy to kind of see that. But who knows if this is actually, I mean, we've been on fire the past few weeks, so I'm sure we're gonna get some type of some type of dip or correction, I should say, right? The markets don't just go completely up. So always remember that. So if you weren't buying over the past few weeks, then I just don't think there's ever going to be a good time for you to buy. If you were afraid of buying over the last few weeks because of everything that was going on, um, you're probably looking at this rally and regretting it, right? So that's why you always have to be a net buyer of stocks, no matter what kind of environment that we're in. It doesn't matter if, I don't want to say the word so YouTube takes my video down, but it doesn't matter if such and such is happening. It doesn't matter if there's a scare in the financial system, banks are going illiquid. It doesn't matter if there's a yen carry trade. If you remember back in 2024 of August, we had the yen carry trade. It doesn't matter if there's tariff wars. It does not matter what's going on in the market. You have to be a net buyer of stocks. And this is exactly why. You cannot be in the game of timing the market. Do not do that. Don't use all of your cash. Deploy cash slowly and steadily into good companies. Sit back, and the market is literally rigged to go back to the upside. We've seen it recover no matter what the circumstances are in the economy. Um, you have to be a net buyer of stocks at all times, no matter if we're at all-time highs or not at all-time highs. If you do follow me though, you know that I don't like to buy near all-time highs. I like to just take opportunity when the markets take a dip. 2025. If you were following me back in 22, net buying all in 2022 in the beginning of 23, and then I kind of took a step back in 24, and bought some more stocks in 25. So that's what you do. You have to be patient in this game, right? And look, people always say, like, I don't want I don't want to lose money. The market could have went down 5, 10, 15 more percent down here at $630 on SPY, and it's completely fine, right? And people get so scared of losing money. They don't want to lose money. They see a stock go down 20%, 25%. And even if it goes down 40%, 50%, I've been down 50, 60, 70% on stocks, and it turned out going up 80 to 100%. So it doesn't matter what stocks you're buying as long as you believe in those stocks, right? And the stock price, obviously you want to get the best entry possible, but again, that's what dollar cost averaging is for. You can bring that average down. But with that being said, where I think that we're actually going in the markets from here. So year to date, I don't know why I do this way. There's an easier way to do this, but we're basically up almost 2% on the S&P. Really good recovery so far. Now, not that I think like I'm bearish or anything, but I do think we are not going to have the year the years that we've had prior. So 2023, we basically recovered from 2022 losses. So yeah, we went up 23%. We were just recovering from our losses from 2022. 24 and 25 were phenomenal years. So back to back, we nearly had 3 years of 20+% gains on the S&P, and that doesn't happen often. So when that happens, and even 25, when we finished, I think it was like 18%, it left me a little on edge going into 26, and you can go back and look at my previous videos. I kind of talked about that. I was a little skeptical, especially with some of these quantum stocks and nuclear energy stocks and just the way they were valued. It's kind of like a signal of a top market, and that's kind of what we got, right? We got this dip. But where I think we're going, I think we're just going to have a very not a boring year. I mean, it's been pretty interesting so far, but I think we're going to have, so if we do end up positive on the year, I think it's going to be low to mid single digits. And if we have a loss, it's going to be like the lower single digits. But with that being said, I don't actually know what's going to happen, right? I can kind of just give you some insight into what I see. But this AI wave that we're in is truly generational, and it's basically the dot-com bubble of my generation, not a literal bubble, but how the internet was and how that created the whole internet economy. This is kind of like, if you were born in like the late 90s, mid 90s, the AI boom is kind of like our internet, if that makes sense. And this is truly generational, and I've been using Perplexity here. I've recently just got their pro subscription, and I was playing around with it and just seeing what it could build. And it is amazing at what this does. And why I'm saying that this kind of relates to the AI spend is the token usage, right? The token usage. So at the top right here, there's like you could look at like your credits that you have. And whenever this runs like something and it builds something for you, it uses tokens. And it uses a pretty decent amount depending on what you want it to build for you. But a lot of people are starting to realize these every time you use, or if I have Perplexity computer build me something, so like this can literally do anything, right? You can see down here, it can compile daily central bank policy brief, make a scoreboard, reconstruct and make a 3D trajectory replay in NASA photos. Like it's crazy stuff like that. But every time that does that, it uses a GPU that are in data centers, right, to help power and allow Perplexity Computer to do what it does to create all of these things. And I'm not going to actually like show you an example, but a lot of people are starting to realize this token usage is is starting to ramp up versus what it was a year ago. And there's not a big population out of like when you're looking at the whole population as a whole, there's not a ton of people that are actually using these things. So when that starts to ramp up, and eventually it will, it's even going to get more intense. And that's why this token usage, it is burning so much electric and power from these GPUs. That's why all these companies are expanding and building out all of these data centers, because there's not even enough supply to meet with the demand, and it's still so early. And that's why the more you start to kind of look into this AI build out, it starts to get more insane. And that's why like when this relates back to the market and what I think we're going to do, like I just think over the next 2 3 years this market is going to be insane. And that's why any hiccup in the market, when we get those dips, you just can't be worried about it. um and then I put this out in one of my short form videos, but just kind of like showing you. So Tom Lee put this out, and he was just talking about many investors waiting for such and such to end before stocks bottom. But this is kind of the reality, is that equity markets tend to bottom in the first 10% of those events. So just kind of give you some context on why you shouldn't be bearish no matter what, right? And no matter what the circumstances are, that doesn't necessarily mean that the equity markets are going to do very bad. So kind of just keep that in mind. All right. So I think I just kind of gave it away. So the two stocks that I recently bought during this dip is SoFi and Microsoft. SoFi, I didn't buy shares. I think my laptop's literally, my MacBook's like overheating here. So the fan's going crazy. So SoFi, I didn't buy shares of SoFi. I actually bought leap calls. I'll show you that those positions. And then Microsoft, I bought shares. Again, you could get this completely free for $3 a month on my Instagram. $3. That's it. But let me bring this over here from my other screen. And let me move this. No, don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so actually, let me bring TradingView over here as well. Oh God, like a beginner here with the chart. All right, so Microsoft stock right now is at 393. I could show you my position over here. I'll bring that over in a little bit, but actually no, I could show you it now. It's my SoFi position. All right, so this is my Microsoft position right now. So my average cost was 372. It is 16% of my portfolio right now. I have a little over 32 shares. And I'm up about almost 6% in this position right now. So, I'm pretty happy with where it's going right now. I think this has a lot more room for upside. It's Microsoft, and the fact that this company has sold off from where it was at like 550 bucks is insane. And this is literally one of the this is one of the companies that you just you can't let go whenever you have this opportunity come, right? When you see this kind of company down 35% from all-time highs in the midst of an AI build out, it just it doesn't make sense. Here's my SoFi position. So these are the leap calls that I have. They expired January of 2028. Bought these March of 27. Average cost is about $453. 3,450 um, was the actually, I think that's the market value. I forget how much they call it, whatever the math is on it. But yeah, so I'm up like about 27% on that. The game plan with SoFi is to hold it until like beginning middle of 2027. That's kind of where how long I want to hold this. I think SoFi will do very, very well. But yeah, those are kind of my positions right now with Microsoft and SoFi. So Microsoft, I just think Microsoft right now is just like it's one of those plays that, like I said, it just hope you like my background there. It's just one of those plays where you can't let up on the opportunity. And I put this out on X. If you don't follow me on X, I do put out some pretty good things like this that maybe you didn't know of. So if you're interested, follow me on X. I don't have a crazy following on there, but Microsoft. So Microsoft used to, well, they did invest in OpenAI back before like anybody even really knew about it. This was like pre 2020. I think it was like before 2019 even. And it wasn't the best deal for OpenAI. So they've restructured their whole deal and basically these are the two big things that Microsoft got out of the deal with OpenAI. They get a 20% revenue share agreement with OpenAI until 2032. So just understand that we're not talking net income because OpenAI doesn't make money right now, right? They're burning a lot of money, but before money hits the bottom line, so if they were to turn profitable, Microsoft gets 20% of that revenue no matter what. That alone is pretty insane. On top of owning 20% equity, owning 20% of OpenAI. That alone makes me super bullish on the company. So no matter if Microsoft doesn't do well in this AI race, right? They have access to OpenAI's models until 2032. Like they have a great deal out of this, and honestly, it's a little unfair to OpenAI. OpenAI is already getting upset at Microsoft kind of limiting their leeway and partnering with other companies, but that's just the deal that they signed years ago. So overall bullish for Microsoft. I mean, look, you're talking Microsoft here. Microsoft Azure growth is going to be the growth driver for them over the next 2 to 3 years. You can't go wrong. Now, I know Microsoft has gotten hit because of the whole software SaaS apocalypse kind of thing going on in the market. That yes, Microsoft is a software company, but when you're looking at their data center growth, Microsoft Azure is really taking market share, and so was Google as well. But Microsoft Azure growth is a huge growth driver for Microsoft, and it's going to really help them grow over the next 3 to 5 years. I just there's not really much to say on Microsoft. It's a good buy, and it's doing very well so far. It's only up 6%, but you get what I'm saying. It's going to do very well. SoFi. So SoFi, I have the leave calls going. SoFi was one that I did want to, I was looking at it for some time, for a while now. Last year, when we had that tariff dip, I did start a very small position in Robinhood, not a lot of shares at all, but it was either that or SoFi. I ended up going with Robinhood, and I'm very happy with that decision. But SoFi, I know they had some legal action that they were looking at taking against this company right here, or firm, I guess, just to say Muddy Waters. Basically saying all they said was they went short um, on SoFi because they're not reporting some debt on their books, and saying that they're just not being transparent with investors. And then basically SoFi came out, the CEO bought $1 million worth of shares, and then the company came out and said like they're probably going to consider taking legal action because it's completely false. So they faced that. That's why the stock sold off a little bit, and then I don't know, some other issues with potential growth scares on the company and stuff like that. But with that being said, where is it? So their earnings, just real quick. I'm not going to go deep into it, but you're looking at a company that just crossed $1 billion in revenue um, for the first time, right? Adjusted EBITDA is up 60%. You're looking at member growth. So member growth is what I really like to see. They're growing at 35%, right? And that's supposed to sustain over the next year or two, right? And they're almost crossing 14 million members. Product growth is up. They're innovating. They're staying up to date, with competitors. It's a good company. I've been following what they do. I do like the CEO. I think he knows what he's doing. He's been executing to where they should be. Um, yeah, so just looking at where they're at in terms of just like evaluation, forward PE right now is about just under 30 currently. You're looking at a company that, I'm not gonna say it's cheap, but relative to where they're supposed to grow, their top and bottom line, I'd say, just under 30 PE is forward PE is pretty cheap for a company that's supposed to sustain 30+% growth. So far so good. I just wanted to update everybody on those two positions. But the market, you got to love the market, man. It gives us the opportunities that we always ask for. And when those opportunities come, a lot of people, they don't take advantage of it, right? It's during the most uncomfortable time. So that's when they start to take a step back and they're like, oh man, is this really the best time to buy? So it's just funny how the market works and how emotions get to people, but you can't have emotions in this game. Um, but that's really it. Just wanted to update everybody on those two positions because I know I've had some people ask me, what have I been buying and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, those are the two big ones. So far, SoFi is working out really well. We're up 28% on those lead calls. Again, if you're interested in getting all of my sells and buys and knowing what I'm doing in the market, Instagram subscriptions, it is $3 a month. That's it. But I appreciate everybody for watching in on this video, and I'll see you in the next one.